All right. Dylan, what episode are we at?
26.
Oh, man, you got it.
The one after the silver.
You know what makes it hard is, well, for whatever reason, we have 2 podcasts. And if you're thinking about starting a podcast, don't start 2.
Start 3.
Or
No,
at least like
it's
hold up one and get them on the same release schedule, maybe.
Yeah, or just mash it all together. Like, this is a podcast about skiing and triathlon events, but no, it isn't. This is about skiing. But 26, never thought we would do more than a couple. Good job. And we're going to commemorate this podcast with some of the best conditions that Colorado has ever seen.
Also, we just hit 2,500 downloads. I don't know if you got that email.
I did. I'll be honest that we produce a couple podcasts that get 2,500 an episode.
Yeah. Hey, whoa.
That being...
So that's 100 people an episode.
That's 100 an episode.
That being
That's exciting.
Almost 2 years in. And yeah, it's growing though.
It is.
I'm safe to say there's 75 people out there that listen to every episode.
Yeah, agreed. And here's the thing. Ours is growing. Others are declining.
Ours is growing. And it's growing because I think it's good stuff. And for the second episode in 26, we have notes today.
Yeah. Heck yeah, we do.
And I made a lot of the notes, so you guys might not know what everything means. So I'll start off with, it appears, let's start with Park City, Utah, and it appears that the patroller strike is over.
Yep.
And I think essentially it's over, but I don't think like they've all signed the dotted line. But and this is just business in America, in most professional negotiations, when you say you've come to agreement, typically sides don't back out. Now, that's not that they don't, because even in our small business, people have backed out and stuff like that, but typically don't back out. And that's good for Park City because that place was, and I don't want to like hype it up, but was a wasteland.
Yeah.
Like I saw video of people hiking up the mountain because the lift lines were hours long. And again, where did I see them? Yeah, I saw them on like Facebook. So maybe,
Right.
But
everything I saw though, everything, everywhere, Reddit, Facebook,
corroborated itself with
that,
multiple hours, and people hiked up the mountain to get to the back lifts that nobody could get to. And they were, again, I hate, because I'm really down on social media these days, that even Facebook now is just like, say whatever you want. But my understanding is they were at like 20% capacity for their patrol staff, which then kind of caps your mountain at
20%.
Yeah. And if it didn't, then what do you, how safe is it? So it apparently is over.
Yeah. You know, another interesting thing that came after that was, I'm sure you saw the lawsuit. Guy filed a lawsuit against Park City, and it's he said that he lost $15,000, and he's trying to bring other people in that also lost money because he's alleging that Vail Resorts knew that the strike was coming over the holidays and did nothing to warn their customers or prevent it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, when you buy. So again, if you don't know about courts in America, nothing means anything. Like he potentially could win gigantic damages, but he has court precedent against him of when you buy lift tickets and ski passes, you say, if you want to put me out on the slope and run me over with a snowcat, I will apologize and pay for the damage I did to your snowcat. When you have to fish my bones out of your snowcat, I will pay for the cleaning of the mess, which is in a lot of cases unfortunate. And the mega corporations, and I'm sorry to go off on a tangent here, the mega corporations have said, if we have to pay Dave Downey's medical bills from running him over with a snowcat, it's going to irreparably damage our business. And so what we need is protection of the state of Colorado, that if we accidentally run over Dave Downey with a snowcat, that we don't have to pay anything and he has to clean the snowcat, essentially.
Right.
And as much as that sounds like crazy, I guarantee that's more right than if you asked Vail, how do these laws work of,
Yeah.
of waivers and things like that is as ludicrous as what I just said is. It's more accurate than what a ski area spokesman or a tourism spokesman would explain it to you of like, well, I mean, what they call gross negligence is they had my Springer Spaniel Broski driving the Snowcat would probably be the length you would have to get to win a lawsuit and say that it was gross negligence because a dog can't drive a Snowcat.
Well, he grew up in the Snowcat. He was born in the Snowcat. He's probably more qualified than most.
Maybe. Anyway.
Well, it's
I'm glad-
interesting.
Go ahead.
Well, because the word I was searching for earlier that I couldn't think of was class action. He's trying to bring a class action lawsuit. So it'll be interesting to see how many people get on board with that. And like you said, if they can, I think I'm curious where the gray area would fall because there's no negligence in terms of safety. No one was
True.
injured.
This isn't about that.
Yeah, they lost money, and they're saying that Vail knowingly allowed them to lose this money, and they should be compensated. And I'll be curious to see where that goes.
And they did. I mean, in
They
all
did.
reality, they knew they were in negotiations, and the negotiations broke down. According to what I understand, and according to what the ski patrollers are saying, that Vail walked away from the negotiating table, and at that point, the ski patrollers had to go on strike, and at that point, they weren't able to run the mountain. But did you see anywhere where Vail said, hey, maybe hold off on Park City?
Nope.
And we're in the industry, and nowhere did they say, hey, 3-hour lift lines. And I wasn't in Park City, so maybe as you get a little closer to Park City, there was some messaging of today's not the day at Park City.
I saw multiple people mention that you've mentioned the Epic app showing lift times, that their lift time would say 30 minutes and it'd be a 2-hour lift wait.
Ugh.
So,
And this hurts me to bash Vail because I love Vail.
Do you want to go ahead and give
Do
them
you?
your Epic Pass number so that they can go ahead and cancel your Epic Pass for them? Make it easier.
I mean, they know who I am in a good way, but the good news is, like, let's focus on the good news. It's over, or looks like it's over. And I don't want to talk about the strike all day, but I think Vail could have acted better. They could have done better.
Yeah.
But one of my curiosities, and maybe somebody can help us out here, is why is this just about the ski patrollers? And why isn't there just a ski industry telecommunications union? And I make that joke because they saddle up to other unions because it's not a big enough industry or it's not well enough represented to form. But where do the lifties and where do all these other people come in? Man, you want to build some leverage. Get all these other seasonal workers involved, and then, man, you got leverage. And
100%.
Yeah, it's a black mark on Vail. It crushed their stock. And after I talked about Vail, I did have somebody comment, like, are you sure you know what you're talking about with Vail stock sucking? And it more was a question.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I disagree. So I went and did a little more research, and Fidelity, who I do a bunch of my trading, rates them as a 2 out of 10.
Got it.
So, I mean, again, there's a lot of blame to go around, but listen, you're 2 out of 10 as a good stock purchase. You're not doing good.
There's a lot better options out there for you.
Yeah. And
SPY.
well, that's a good option, but that's for our stock show.
Yeah. Our third podcast we're starting. Episode 1 launches next week.
So it's not.
It's called Cheddar.
Cheddar. What's cheddar? Oh, cheddar. Yeah, cheddar. So kudos to both sides in all reality, because how much do I care about both sides as much as I care about skiing as a whole is not as much as you might think. Because Vail Resorts isn't the ski industry. It's a big part of it. And the patrollers aren't the ski industry, but they're a big part of it.
Yeah.
And so us Icon Pass holders, this is an earthquake on another planet.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Until it starts affecting Icon Pass mountains because they saw it was successful and now they want more money.
Yeah.
You could have the trickle down, but hopefully not.
And was it successful?
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
what
was
did
it,
they get? Yeah.
Nobody knows for a few more years because how they hire and organize ski patrollers going forward is going to determine if it's successful, because now if Vail's just like, well, this is how we do it going forward, it may or may not be successful. They got what they wanted, so it probably honestly feels successful from both sides. And one number I heard, and again, there just isn't like a really good source of information on this, is that in the end, the short-term pay raises and stuff like that were $775,000, which is a big number for me. I retired today. You put that in my pocket. But that's not a big number for a gigantic publicly traded corporation.
No.
Worth billions.
That's interesting that they were fighting over that. But I also know
a year
other unions, like the Screenwriters Guild that was a few months back, theirs was pennies based on like each one of the CEOs could have taken a 0.1% pay decrease and it would have paid all the union's requests. I'm not saying that this is the same. It's always interesting to hear that final speculative number or hard number and go, y'all were fighting that?
Yeah.
For safety? Y'all were fighting that?
Yeah.
It's not even $1 million.
Yeah.
It's not a single lawsuit of a middle-aged skier getting run over by a snowcat.
Yeah. That was driven by a dog.
Driven by a Springer Spaniel. So, thank you for both sides for coming together and getting it solved, as much as we've made, well, more fun of Vail Resorts than the ski patrollers. But, and it's not a light subject. People's livelihood is on the line, not just ski patrollers, but people that, imagine if your job is like the Midway cafeteria or something like that. Those things probably weren't running at full capacity. So I'm glad that it's over.
Agreed.
So we'll move on to a little more lighthearted subject for some of us, but gold and silver ski coats.
I can't wait to hear the story.
Where's this come from?
Yeah.
Well,
Did you get a new ski coat?
Were you just in Aspen or something?
No, but you bring up a good point. You see them everywhere. So they're not, okay, I've never seen one at Eldora.
No, I was going to say, everywhere's a stretch, but yes.
And I'm not talking about like shiny gray or shiny yellow.
You're talking chrome that you could like get stuff out of your teeth in the reflection.
Reflective gold, reflective silver ski coats. I assume, by not owning one, and maybe somebody could Google one up, that they're thousands of dollars. And the people that wear them
can't ski.
No. Well, now we're going to get into this. The people that wear them are, for lack of a better term, the beautiful people.
Yeah. It's ski-fluencers.
Except
ski-fluencers.
Except that one time, Dave and I were in Aspen. And this chick comes by in the big, shiny one-piece suit, the big furry hood. And we're looking over the top of this mogul run, and she flies by us and just hot dogs down the thing.
Niagara at the bottom of Aspen Mountain.
Dude, and Dave and I look at each other like, what just happened?
And I think she knew, I don't know that we were talking.
Yeah.
But I think she knew we were making fun of her in our heads. And so not only did she just rock it through Niagara, which is an extremely difficult, icy, rocky, fun run, but then she stopped at the bottom.
And then watched us, and we were like,
no. That's awesome.
We got played hard.
I'll tell you what.
We were humbled.
I think that I am a decent skier now. I think those are awesome if you are the best skier on the mountain. But it's got to be the bodysuit, like full head to toe, you're in chrome or gold. You're making a statement. You're saying you better watch out.
How much
if you
is
can
that
do
coat?
that, that's awesome.
Or you're here to party.
There's plenty of like
How much
cheap
is that
ones.
one?
This one was $1,090.
It's,
Yeah.
it looks like it's a Mackage.
Yes, it is.
I just saw one on here for $800.
You know what that you could use? A little How to Ski It logo right there.
That like silk removable hood collar thing, that's loud.
So Marcus, you just said something that was part of the conversation. You can carry this gold or silver ski coat if you're the best skier on the mountain. But I'd like to point out, just last week, we clarified that the best skier on the mountain's the person that's having the
Ooh.
most fun.
That's a good point.
So, and that's kind of where this gold and silver ski coat, you don't have to be the best. You don't have to be the best skier on the mountain. You have to be the most confident skier on the mountain.
True.
And even if you suck,
You come in with that swagger.
you come in with that swagger with the gold or silver ski coat.
I think it's so hard because it's so flashy. I don't think I would ever do it. But if you come in with a swagger that's like, yeah, of course I'm wearing a gold hoodie. I kind of dig it. I wouldn't buy one.
And Ryan, I forgot about the Aspen incident. And I think her coat was shiny bronze.
Yeah.
I think it was shiny bronze. Well, so, and
Yeah.
we'll say
It was
gold.
still a shiny one piece.
Yeah.
It was with the fur. And
Yeah.
It was like this is what you see at the après party. This isn't usually what you see hot dog in Niagara.
That's
and
awesome.
if you rated skiers, which I don't think we do, but maybe we should start, out of 10 or 100, let's say out of 100, she was like a 96.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and also it's a flex. If
a flex.
If you're a really good skier, and I'm going to do this to you guys tomorrow, and you rip through a bump line in front of people, stop at the bottom and turn 180 degrees around. Don't turn your head around.
Let them know
Turn
you're
your whole
watching.
body around, and then maybe cross your poles and lean on them, and look like you're a ski coach. But don't say anything.
No, just
'Cause
watch.
I told you about the kids on Rogers at Vail.
Yeah.
That's what they did to me.
Yeah.
Like after they knew they had broken my spirit and taken my soul, they stopped at the bottom to see what I had left. And then you're like, oh, well, I'll show you what I have left with some really sloppy skiing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be the best skier on the mountain, but I will say this about the gold, silver, or bronze shiny ski coat. If you are the best skier on the mountain, it makes that coat that much cooler.
It does.
So you don't have to be, and we've already agreed the best skier on the mountains who has the most fun. But if you're technically like a 95 and you're wearing a gold ski coat, gold helmet, gold pants,
Yeah.
But can you ever be 100
No,
with
I
the gold?
don't care how good you are. It's still not cool.
I disagree.
yeah,
I'm with you, Ryan.
It's not cool.
and I'll throw a couple hundreds around. God, my brain is scrambled, but
Michaela Schifrin.
yeah, probably. But I haven't seen her free ski.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't think of his name. He makes the peak skis. The bad boy of skiing. God, why can't I think of his name? Every
me
now
see.
our God podcast has no credibility. Like the best
Glenn Plank?
male American skier of all time, decorated.
Bodie Miller?
Yes, and so, I mean, all I'm saying is I saw that guy fall down and take a silver medal in the Olympics. Fell down
Whoa.
and took a silver medal in an event that you can't really afford to hook an edge for a split second. So, and then as long as we'll move on from the gold and silver ski coats, another one who I've seen a little bit of free skiing from, and I'm not saying free skiing is everything, but I used to know some ski racers and they were world-class ski racers, but they weren't world-class free skiers, is Lindsey Vonn, who took 6th in the downhill and 4th in the Super G. And then I should have had my laptop out and maybe you guys could pull up so we can mention her, won her first event for the USA in the Super G. So we were 1st and 4th. But Lindsey Vonn at 40 years old stepped away from the sport for 6 years. And man, I don't know how you come back and plug in at 4th place is unheard of. So kudos to her. And she and Michaela Schifrin might be the two best American skiers. I mean, they decorated wise, they are easily the two best American skiers of all time. So, and maybe they wear gold and silver coats.
I doubt it.
I don't know.
I doubt
Because
it.
they're cool.
So a couple other things. So we did some skiing. We've been to Eldora twice last week and not great snow, like good.
Yeah.
Good. Eldora
There was-
good.
Yeah.
good.
Eldora
Skiing.
good.
That was the term that was thrown around a lot.
A lot of rocks.
Oh, rock field at one point, but that was our fault.
We skied through some, I like to call them geothermals, but this wasn't a geothermal.
This is not geothermal.
It was just a dry patch. But overall good skiing. And we've slipped up there for these really short afternoons And so we didn't really have time. The back is open now, but we didn't have time to go to the back. So we skied a lot of front side trees. And man, not much wide open tree skiing on the front of Eldora. A little bit. Jolly Jug Glade is kind of open, but a lot of good tree skiing on the front side.
Yeah, surprising. It was. There was one run that was like
Soft.
awesome. Yeah,
And
the
then
Imperial Trees was like next level for me.
yeah.
I enjoyed that.
And then they were blowing snow again. Ryan didn't make it up on Friday, but they were blowing snow again on the front side. And the wind was ripping. And I was like, man, why would you blow snow when it's like 50-mile-an-hour winds? And I get it, because it was spreading it all over the mountain.
Oh yeah,
We were a mile away from the snow guns, and there was fresh snow in the trees from the snow guns.
nice.
And they make, when it's that cold, they make good snow.
Right.
And it was heinous weather.
Yeah.
I've been to Eldora. The last 3 times I've been to Eldora, if we were rating skiers out of 100, weather out of 100, Eldora was like a 15.
Yeah.
How bad it was.
It was
Easy.
the Friday or whatever when we went. It was so cold.
It was about the
You're
same.
getting brain freeze when you're just ripping groomers.
Yeah, you can't rip groomers in that kind of weather.
Yeah.
No,
My beard was entirely coated,
I think
way
that's-
more than I thought it was.
I think that's why we skied so hard in the trees, because that was like the only respite area
the
to
only way to
get
stay
away
warm,
from the
man.
wind.
But I've said this for years about Eldora. As I know, and I've been nonstop talking about skiing Vail and stuff like that. Man, if you can ski Eldora, you can ski anywhere.
Yeah,
If you can ski Vail, you might not be able to ski Eldora because it's tight, it's nasty, there's rocks. Snow doesn't
everywhere.
represent what we brag about in Colorado every day.
yeah.
But, and to defend Eldora, it's not the best skier in Colorado, but it's absolutely my favorite.
Mm.
I mean, it's 235. We could get up there for 45 minutes, which would be like 3,500 vertical feet of trees and the bumps and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
You get 4 runs in.
yeah, you would on the front side with that 6-pack.
Yeah.
One thing that really struck me about skiing at Eldora on Friday was we skied into the lift line and we ended up having to wait for Dylan.
Oh, you were in the lift line.
And we were those people.
Oh,
You were there.
on Friday?
Yeah.
When we went, it
Oh.
wasn't Friday. Whatever it was, Tuesday.
Oh, I don't consider
right.
that. I
Mel
never
was there.
stopped.
No.
Are
Mel
you
was
talking
there.
about the very first run?
Yes.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
pass didn't work in the gate.
Yeah.
And then
so-
it happened again.
So there we were up at the
Yes.
little gates that open and close, and we're just standing there, and people are
Waiting
like,
for our friend.
do you wait? And so,
We went without him.
and we bashed on that as etiquette. And maybe there's times where people think their buddy that was 2 feet behind them as they entered the corrals would still be 2 feet behind
Yeah,
them.
you would think
But in this case,
he was 3 chairs behind.
well, his pass didn't. And then you missed the chair, right?
Yeah.
You
so
rode up
I-
with some randos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just got to the point where
We just
We
went.
can't do this.
Yeah.
we were going to stop people.
Yeah.
There were going to be empty chairs going. So
And you can't let there be
I
empty
tried to be
chairs.
like, excuse me, I got to get to my friends.
and the
but-
gate shut on them. So I still don't think you should wait for your friends in the lift lines.
Yeah.
But I like was so acutely reminded of
Immediately.
sometimes things happen, and like he skis all the time. And why his pass didn't read, I don't know. Why didn't your pass read? Did you have it in a new pocket
No, not new pocket.
wrapped
So,
in tinfoil?
so the I
Kinda.
had,
Inside his wallet.
I had issues for 2 runs. The first one was it was in my wallet, and so like I'm skiing down the chute.
RFID blocking wallet.
No, I was getting it out. I was that's why I was late to the gate in the first place, because I was like skiing and getting it out of my mouth and everything, and then so I just barely got to it in time, and then I missed the chair. Then the second one, there may have been an aluminum can beverage in the same pocket, so I just kind of struggled all day.
So don't wait for your friends in the lift line, but there are some times that it's
That happens.
not foreseeable.
Yeah.
Because remember, I'm saying he was 2
He was
feet
there.
behind me
Yeah.
10 seconds earlier.
We weren't waiting there for 5 minutes. He was right there.
Well, we would have been if we waited for him the whole time.
Yeah.
But so So, and again, we've been getting an inch, 2 inches, 6 inches, and I haven't been back to Vail, but they got 6 and 10 and 11 and crazy snow at Vail. And I'm sure it was the best skiing of all time. But I did make it up to Winter Park on Sunday, and I was like, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip up there early, and nobody's going to go skiing because it's a Bronco game. The Broncos are in the playoffs. I get playoffs against the Bills. And every single person in Colorado did the same thing.
Oh, no.
And
Which is funny because the grocery store is empty.
Because they were skiing or watching Broncos.
Yeah, there was no one on the roads. Grocery store was empty. Liquor store was empty. It was crazy.
we got on an I-70 at 6:10, and I was like telling myself that 10 minutes matters. And it probably doesn't, but it did that day. And then it was bumper to bumper at 6:30 going up
man.
Berthoud Pass. And then a lot of times we'll get to that upper lot at Mary Jane and it's empty. We're usually the first ones there. And there was maybe 10 cars in there already. And then it was full by 8.
So you were on Berthoud Pass at 6:30, bumper to bumper.
Bumper to bumper.
That's insane.
And snowing good.
Yeah.
That doesn't help.
No, it does get pretty sketchy on Berthoud when it's actually weathering.
And we talked about this 2 episodes ago. Man, you know what is not at Mary Jane is adult skiing.
Yeah.
It's all
business.
It's all business.
There's one blue run that you could do down to Challenger. I
Sleeper.
can't remember. Sleeper.
Yeah.
It's a blue-black.
It's a blue-black.
It's a blue. Just don't go in the moguls.
And I want to be super clear. I'm adamantly against blue-blacks. Like, we just got to get back to the green, blue, green circle, blue square, black diamond, double black diamond, the EX, the blue black, get rid of all that
Green
stuff.
blue.
It's funny because I'm sitting here saying we should get rid of those. And I did just refer to a run the other day. I was like, it's kind of a green blue. And so
here's a real question though, is in other places, I assume out of the US, maybe just out of Colorado, what's the deal with red?
where's red?
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's Europe. Like, everyone's like, yeah, this is a red square. I'm like, what is that?
God, please don't bring that to the States if that's true. That's weird.
I say we get rid of all signs.
And I get
All
why they
signage goes away.
Gosh.
Okay,
no.
so I'm not the only one.
Oh, it's between blue and black. Why would
So
you
it's a
do
blue-black.
that?
So it's a blue black.
It's a blue black, but
well,
what?
it is true if you
What
guys
shape
have
is
ever
it?
worked with like
it a red
oil
triangle?
paints. If you mix blue and black, as you know, it turns red. It doesn't. But
Oh my gosh.
back really quick to Winter Park. So a couple things that if you're maybe not super familiar with Winter Park is we started off the day and we went over to the Panorama lift, which
Nice.
is the coldest lift on the planet.
So cold.
It's always cold. And one thing that happened, and we may have mentioned last year on the podcast, and I think you guys were with me. Do you remember on the Panorama lift when the ski patrol was like, I wouldn't get on this
Yes.
lift?
Yeah.
And they're like, it's not closed and we're not stopping you. But they were like, it's 50 below with wind on top. And we were like, yeah, we got it. And then I remember we were like, evacuate, run. It was that cold.
Once
Oh,
you
yeah.
hit that tree line halfway up, you're
Yeah.
like, uh-oh.
Once
You're-
it starts to go up,
Yeah.
because
You're
it kind of
exposed.
gradually goes up and then it goes straight up. So we skied the Pano trees and we had somebody ask us, like, where's some good open tree skiing at Aspen Highlands? And I don't think it really exists at Aspen Highlands. But at Winter Park, Mary Jane, the Panorama trees are some of the easiest open, fluffy. It's a, I don't know a better term, but it's a blue-black.
It's a red.
Kinnikinnick is always the one that I
They're
like
flowy.
saying.
Kinnikinnick, which is a little, I don't think it's an herb, but it's a little plant that grows on here in Boulder on Flagstaff and stuff. It's a little plant. It's a ground covering plant. And sidebar, when I was a kid, I shouldn't tell this story. We were told that's what the Indians smoked out of their peace pipe, and maybe they did or maybe they didn't. So we tried it. I'm going to say it right here on how to ski it. It's got a cool taste. So I saw that sign on Sunday and I was like, oh yeah. And I was going to tell the people I was skiing with the story, but I erred on the side of caution. I figured I'd just throw it out on the podcast.
There it is.
Okay, and then let's wrap up Winter Park here, but I wanted to say one last thing. So we skied Pano a couple times, and if you're looking for some easy tree skiing and lots of people, although they're not in the trees, but the lift lines and stuff get significant at Pano because it's a very popular 6-person lift that goes very fast and gets you up to 12,000 feet, which is, you forget, like, surprise, it's cold and windy at 12,000 feet.
Yeah.
And then there's no mountains really close to that are higher. So it's very exposed.
It's one of the best sweeping views, I think, from a ski lift.
Yeah.
That, like, if you kind of squint your eyes just right, you could kind of convince yourself you're in Europe, maybe.
You can see hundreds of square miles
Yeah.
from the top. But go ahead.
Sorry, just to
Kinnikinnick goes in peace pipes, right? No,
that's not what I was looking up. I'll Google that too.
Well, when I started talking about Kinnikinnick, I saw you typing.
I was looking up the run. So the run, the Kinnikinnick run, I was trying to remind myself the runs off of the top of Pano. Those are the first tree runs I ever did. Because you were like, hey, these are super wide open. And it is, if you're trying to get in and you're a competent skier, if you're doing regular blacks and want to explore trees, it's such a great way because it's so wide open that you can make turns not in between trees, but you get the comfort, you get the experience of being near trees, and you can go near these trees and ski, but you still have wide enough that if you lose a little bit of control, you're not immediately going into a tree trunk. And that's huge to get confidence.
And thank you for summarizing my babbling, because that's where I was going.
Yeah.
Is the Pano trees is what we call it, but there's specific runs in there on the map.
Yeah.
Are an incredible place to learn to tree ski because they're not steep.
And you can spend a whole day back there.
Oh,
There's
and it's
so much.
amazing.
Yeah.
Even if you do ski trees, it's still an awesome place to go ski.
You can spend a whole day back there till about 10 a.m. when that lift line gets big. But moving on so then we went over to Eagle Wind. And I just want to reiterate, which we've talked about on this podcast, if you're a Colorado skier and you're an advanced skier, there's nothing back at Eagle Wind that is worth skiing unless you're an advanced, accomplished skier. But Little Raven is one of the best ski runs in Colorado. The whole area back there
is a hidden gem.
Eagle
The whole
Wind
area
is
so
incredible.
awesome.
Don't go
and
back
it's
there.
steep trees
Yep.
that aren't skied very much, and then they end up in relentless moguls.
Yep.
But Little Raven, which would be to the west of the Eagle Wind chairlift, is one of the best runs in Colorado. And if I was to put together a top 10 of a mix of what I like to ski is challenging, I like trees, and I especially like good snow, it faces north. And I got to ski that and Thunderbird and a couple others back there. And it's as good as it gets. And as I was about to summarize this whole story, it was mobbed. It was mobbed everywhere except Challenger. And we've talked about this time and time again. Nobody wants to ride a 2-person double chair that goes slow. And apparently nobody wants to ride a 3-person chair that goes slow. That's Eagle Wind. And Eagle Wind happens to be made by my favorite lift manufacturer, Yan.
And if you're interested in seeing what Little Raven looks like, there is a How to Ski It video on our YouTube. Just go to the How to Ski It YouTube channel and search up Little Raven, and you can see what it's like to ski Little Raven.
And the conditions were identical to that day where it was
amazing.
Some fresh powder, but also some tracked out. So you kind of knew where the lines were. And it goes 20 degrees, 40 degrees, 25 degrees, 40 degrees, 25. And I'm talking about the pitch. Somebody mentioned the other day, I kept talking about degrees and they're like, I didn't know the temperature changed like that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was talking about
Pitch.
the angle of the slope where
That's so funny.
45 degrees. I get it. Some runs claim upwards of 50, but really and truly 45 to 50 is where runs top out. So when you hear us say 45-degree pitch, we're talking about steep.
Yeah.
We're talking about as steep as it gets. And then above 50, you're kind of like skiing a cliff. So you're not
Yeah.
really skiing. Like the entrance to Corbett's is like 55 and it's a cliff. You
So
don't,
for
your
reference,
skis don't touch the ground.
Rambo at Crested Butte, the steepest run in America.
So they say.
So they say 55 degrees.
And I kind of would kind of believe that. I was there last year. We didn't ski it, but I have skied it before. And it's not really that fun because it's so businessy. That
Just
there's-
trees and rocks.
yeah, and there's no mistakes allowed, period. And that's great. You want to do it to say I did it, but it's not, it's to me, I want to have at least like a 25% chance of recovering if something happens. And that one's less than that. So, but back to Little Raven, if you get a chance to go to Mary Jane Winter Park. But last thing I wanted to point out about Mary Jane Winter Park is the snow back there was really good, but not as good as it was on like long haul, short haul trees. And I don't really understand why. They face the same direction. And the long haul, short haul trees are a little bit lower in elevation, which a lot of times means worse.
So I
Which was better.
remember you saying that the other day, and so then I was curious. I was like, because sometimes the cardinal directions is hard to interpret on the illustrated maps. They're not really facing the same way.
I was gonna
Really?
say, I
Long
don't think
haul's
they
like
are.
almost due east.
Huh.
And so I took a screenshot right here, and this is like still oriented north up. So it's interesting. I
Yeah.
definitely thought it was north facing, but it's
And
it's
then
really
what's
not.
Little Raven?
Definitely north, almost northwest.
Yeah, and the snow was great, 8 out of 10, but it was, 4 or 5 inches of chopped up powder on top of a fairly firm base, where when you went over to the front side off Challenger, Derailer, Boilermaker, all those runs, 4 or 5 inches of chopped up powder on a pretty soft underbase. So
No, those are north facing. The derailleur and railbender, those are north. And I think short haul, long haul just kind of goes off the
yeah,
crest.
and when I say short haul, long haul, I'd never ski those runs. I ski the trees.
between them.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, and then let's get out of here. It's noon. Broncos are up 7-3, and we get on the road, and it's like 3 p.m. traffic. It's bumper to bumper,
Man.
like 20 miles an hour, and terrible behavior from the drivers. A young lad in an Audi with his young child at the top of Berthoud Pass, the car stopped, and he's like, I'm going to pass all 10 of these cars in one shot, and almost ran over a pedestrian at the crosswalk.
Oh,
There
man.
is a crosswalk at the very top of Berthoud Pass. There's signs. If it wasn't snow-packed roads, you would see the lines on the ground, and he almost ran him over because he
Man.
was going to get home and then we got home basically. So we left at the end of the first quarter. We got home after the game ended.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So it was rough, bad behavior. I-70, like I always want to point out, our civic leaders in Colorado for the last 40 years have done so many impactful things to I-70. Like Marcus, if you want to mention some examples.
Well, they added an express lane that's not open year round. So that's great, and then that's it.
Yeah. And
If I'm remembering correctly, that's it.
I can't believe I'm going to admit this on the air. We took the express lane.
Dude, there's no shame in that at all.
There is.
No, there's
You're
not.
part of the problem if you
No,
do that.
there's no shame.
So traffic was stopped, and we took the express lane. And the minute we got in the express lane and paid our $9,
It opened up.
it opened wide open, and we drove straight home.
See,
You know
the
what
only-
that's called?
Karma.
Karma.
The only time I've ever gotten in the express lane, I took it all the way to the exit of the express lane eastbound with standstill traffic on the right. And I was like, worth every penny.
Yeah,
Worth every penny. That saved me at least an hour and a half to get through Idaho Springs.
that's nice.
It
So-
saved me 3 or 4 minutes.
That's awful.
That's a waste of $10.
It was a waste of
It's a
$10.
new DVD or something.
Yeah, I blew it. But I see, like, I was like, we're stopped. The express lane, nobody's in it. I'm like, I'm going to get home and see some of this Bronco game, see the Broncos get smoked
Yeah,
by the
missed
Bills.
much, yeah.
Man.
And I got home. I saw the post-game interviews at home.
You got to
Well-
watch the birds.
Yeah, and I was home at like 2:00.
Yeah.
So a couple last
Brutal.
subjects, and we're going to wrap it up for today. I wanted to talk about ski strike a little bit more. We're not talking about patrol or strike, but
Yeah, the other kind of ski strike.
there was some borderline ski strike on Sunday
Oh, really?
with my ski partner, whose name I won't mention. And
But she knows.
yeah, Mel knows. And one of the things that I think puts you in the crosshairs of ski strike is when you stop on the run and you do something that should be done on the chairlift. Like, is it ski strike if you're searching for new music on the run? Or is that something that should wait for the chairlift?
I mean, it should wait for the chairlift. There's no reason to do it. Now, if you get off the chair and you pull your phone out to start your music or something, like you have,
You're talking middle of the run.
but middle of the run is weird.
And I get it. Like if you need a break, just say I need a break. Don't say, hey, I got to change my music or my gloves is I got to fix my strap on my glove. Just hey, I'm
Right.
tired. Give me 30 seconds here. Let's just chill.
And I was wound up on Sunday. I did not ski good at all, but I thought I was gonna.
Oh yeah.
So
You were like, we got to go.
I'm 0-2 against Mary Jane this year.
Oof.
I'm 7-0 at Vail. So all my days at Eldora have been ties. All my days at Copper Mountain have been ties.
I feel like we crushed it a few days at Copper Mountain.
Yeah, we had some good days. You're
Yeah.
right. Just the conditions weren't great.
Oh, right. Fair.
So
fair.
great conditions. The whole team's going up tomorrow. Everybody here's going up tomorrow. We're skiing with some clients tomorrow. And the clients didn't talk smack, but they were like, we want to go bell to bell. And that means opening chair to closing chair. I don't think that's possible for me, the way I
Really?
ski.
Mm.
I could go.
I could ski groomers all day.
I could ski
I'd
Vail,
get
bell
bored
to
though.
bell.
Yeah.
Like there would become a point where I'd be frustrated and want to go home because I'm bored. If I had to ski
I
groomers all day.
bet you any money that they call ouch quit it before we do.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think I don't want to mention their names, but I think
But they know.
Yeah, I think Tim Brocious and Matt DeMola are going to say ouch quit it just a little bit after lunch tomorrow.
I think
Yeah.
Tim's going to make it because he's going to ski groomers all day. Matt, I don't think he knows what he's in for.
he lives in New Jersey.
Yeah, he lives
Yeah.
on the beach in New Jersey at sea level, and now he's going up to 10,000 feet. It's going to be a struggle for him,
But
they're
Tim's a
tough.
great athlete. He's like an ultra runner.
But
and-
see, Tim's also smart. He'll just be like, yeah, I'll meet you at Challenger and not ski the bumps.
I'm not going to ski the bumps until I see him start to falter.
So then if you're going to play his game, it's going to be a long game. I guarantee it. Matt will go anywhere we go. Like, he just wants to go have fun. So
Yeah.
he wouldn't be hard to break. And look, I'm not saying I'm going to make it fun. Shoot, I'm not. There's no way.
I'm going to be the best skier on the mountain.
Because you're going to have the
I'm
most
going to
fun.
have the most fun.
Let's make sure we release this podcast tonight, and then
Yeah.
I'll send it to them in the morning so they have to listen to it on the drive up, and they'll come up all wound. And I
Yes.
don't know where we're going tomorrow. They said they were going to
Winter Park.
choose.
Did they
Okay,
choose?
we had it down to Copper Mountain and Winter Park. I'll be honest, I like Copper Mountain considerably more, but the parking situation and being able to park on the slope, and then I take my dogs with me, so I can come down to the car, let them out, and stuff like that.
We're going to park in the upper lot or the lower lot?
Either one tomorrow. It's Wednesday. Like, we're not leaving at 5 on I-70 by 8 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
'Cause-
You're good.
And
Yeah.
if you didn't know this, I didn't realize I skied over the holidays. And I was like, lifts open at 9. And then Mel looked at 8:20 and she's like, no, they open at 8:30.
Ooh.
It's 8:30 on weekends, 9 on weekdays.
That's good to know.
That is
okay.
good to know.
Is that
So
new?
we could leave at 7 and get there
Yeah.
with plenty of time. I don't know if it's new. I know,
can't
and I can
remember.
only speak for Eldora, that they change that time like every couple
So why
days.
don't they change their closing time when we go back
When
to,
there's light?
yeah,
at
when we
6?
fall
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
I know a lot has to do with Forest Service permits because
Sure.
they're all on leased land.
Yeah.
But that's a really good question because in late March, you could ski till 7 p.m.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they could
It'll be
still sweep the mountain
amazing.
and do everything.
But they
do.
close at it's no different than December when it's
Yeah.
dark at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
It's dark at 7:30 p.m. then. So I wish they would, but I think there's permits and some things that keep them. And then last thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if you guys follow in the news, but there was an awful story out of Steamboat, Colorado, where a dude assaulted a ski coach.
I saw
They had
that.
a run-in on the mountain, and he assaulted the ski coach, and they caught him.
Good.
I just saw they caught him and they arrested him and charged him with assault. And
Was he like a cuckoo parent, or was he just
no? It was like a kid. I wish I would have saved it because I would love to throw his name out and tarnish his name more. Although, without mentioning his name, I should say he's suspected
Right. Yeah.
of assaulting a ski coach. But they had his photo.
Yeah.
So I was really hopeful he wasn't there on vacation because that would be hard to figure out who it was. And so you can Google it and find it. But he wasn't there on vacation. He was local. But man, try to keep it positive out there. And throwing shade at your fellow skiers is kind of rough.
Mhm.
But then assaulting is a crime. And I just don't think there's any place for that on the mountain.
Absolutely not.
So
It's insane.
So I think it's time to wrap it up because we're getting kicked out
We
of the
are.
studio for a more popular podcast.
Our own podcast is getting kicked out for another podcast.
So
Follow us on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I think we got Blue Sky now that we're camped on.
We're
got
on Blue Sky now.
Perfect. We've got Blue Sky. We've got TikTok for the next 4 days or whatever it is. But yeah, follow us, comment, let us know what you don't know at How to Ski It.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Turns out kinnikinnick, he was right. Yeah, the native beings on this planet did smoke them and use them for berries and
Nice. Ceremonial pipes?
I'm super happy to
No,
hear that
yeah.
because we thought that's why we smoked it.
Right.
Because we're like, what's good for Native Americans is good for 13-year-old trail junior rangers.
Yeah.
indigenous peoples use kinnikinnick for centuries in traditional medicine as a dye and in smoking blends.
Nice.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm recommending against doing it as much as it does taste good.
Go pick
But
wild
don't
berries and eat
do
them.
it. Don't do it. All right. For Dave, Ryan, Dylan, I'm Marcus. We'll see you next time.
Kinnikinnick.